This program is proudly brought to you by LateNightMedia.com for all your podcasting, comedy writing, and hot steaming pod needs. LateNightMedia.com.
Conscious wisdom, challenging our skeptical, critical thinking, digging deep into the dark and the light, and exploring the depths of our mind, body, and spirit. The podcast sprinkled with science, creativity, ageless wisdom, philosophy, and conspiracy. So be part of the discussion and get involved. Be part of the action of thinking and being the revolution. Be conscious with wisdom. Conscious wisdom, challenging our skeptical, critical thinking.
Hey guys, we're back. Hopefully you had a good time, all you guys at home, and got everything you need to get done. Everyone needs a break sometimes, like the music. So we're back, and we've had some really amazing insights into I guess people's minds and how they look at themselves through grievances and all this kind of things. But I want to talk about go on a bit of a different sort of topic at the moment, which is synchronicity, and especially with what's happening with all the astrology at the moment. It seems there's a lot of synchronicities going around. So I guess for people at home who may not know, what is synchronicity to us? Anyone can take the first stab at this one.
Coincidences, things that you may think of somebody, then all of a sudden they'll turn up, or you can look at it as being in sync with someone. For instance, my husband and I have a tandem bike, so if we're not both pedaling together, we're not going anywhere. So
I've seen the goodies do that. Do you know the goodies?
Yeah.
Love those guys. They have a triple one.
They're
Totally in sync.
Yeah. So yes, synchronicity can be very positive for you too. Like you may be thinking something, and then, like say, even a trip, like a normal going to say Ireland for a holiday, then all of a sudden you'll find that you're meeting everyone from Ireland. So it's like a reinforcement that yes, that's something that is going to occur for you. And to me, synchronicity is a positive sign, and it can encourage you to move forward with lots of things in your life.
Yeah, a lot of synchronicities that I've found help your thought to understand where you're going. Because from what I've learned in a lot of places, if synchronicities start happening, you're on the right path. Have you guys noticed this type of thing?
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
So what's some experiences that you've encountered with synchronicity?
Synchronicity, for me, I've had so many. I'm just trying to sit and think of one in particular. When I was living in Adelaide, I've come from Adelaide, moved up here, and there was a guy, one of those moments I was thinking about this guy I used to go out with. And I went to my local shopping centre. Now, as I do, I go to the same car park, No, this is my car park. I'm not going to go around the corner. So I go to turn into the one that I normally do, and it's like someone just turned the steering wheel into the other car park. And I was like, okay, so I'm going in this car park. And then I wanted to park in a certain spot. I went, yep, I'm parking here, and then there was a trolley there, and I went, well, I'm not parking there. And my car just drove into another one. So I parked and I got out. Now, I'd been thinking about this guy that I used to go out with, and then all of a sudden I'm walking through the shopping centre, in the door of the shopping centre that I would normally not go in. And as the sliding doors slid open, there was this guy I was thinking about walked right into me.
Wow, that's actually pretty full on.
Yes, that's how they work for me. They're very profound. So I just went, oh my God, what are you doing here? And he's like, wow, I was just thinking about you too. So we actually drew to each other on that moment. So they can be very profound. I find synchronistic events are very profound. As another one that just popped into my mind, I'll share, the beginning of my journey was about reading a lot of books. The first book that I ever bought was because someone appeared in a shop. I went into a bookstore, new agey bookstore, and I'm like, yes, I want to do this. I want to see what it is that life's going to bring me. And I'm walking, I'm looking and going, I have no idea. There's so many books to choose from. Where do I start in this new age experience? So I'm standing in front of the books. The next thing, this woman came up to me. Now, she was a woman from India, you know, with the whole sari thing. And I'm talking about Adelaide 25 years ago. There was no women like that. She stood next to me. Oh, okay,
really?
Yeah, in where I come from, north of Adelaide. So I looked at her, and she picked this book up and she gave it to me, and it was called The Road Less Travelled. And I grabbed it and I looked at it, and then I looked back at her and she was gone. I even ran out the shop to actually see where she was. She wasn't there. It's like she manifested and disappeared. So synchronistic events, for me, they bring me to certain points at certain times. Very powerful.
Wow. Okay. Tiarnie.
You know, I think synchronicity happens every single day. And again, when you're awake, you are conscious of the synchronicities, and they're just, yeah, I've got hundreds. I mean, little things from doing RPM training with an ingrown toenail, the guy who's driving me down, podiatrist, never met him before, just little things. It's just constantly the universe giving you exactly what you need at the right time. You know, always. You know, I say thank you about literally 8 million times a day, because it's just constant. Thanks for that one. You know, it's that same thing. You're thinking of someone, they call. You're thinking of this. It's just, you know, all of a sudden in your news feed, it's the same theme. You know, it wasn't that yesterday, not the day after, but on that day, that's the theme. There's the message. Take it. It's just, you know, it's constantly getting messages.
Well, it seems like it's how we're all connected.
Absolutely.
It's like you're at that point, and the universe will go, well, so am I. Here you go. Here's something to prove it.
Yeah. It just reinforces.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So anything that you can remember, Marilyn?
Not specifically. Very similar to the girls. You'll be thinking of someone, and they just happen. You might not have seen them for like 40 years. Was my most recent experience. I sort of thought of this girl and thought, that's a bit strange. Why would I be thinking of her now? And within a week, ran straight into her, and I thought, oh, okay. And we were to catch up on something from childhood, and just along those same lines, every single day there's some simple, it might be pulling an angel card in the morning to confirm something, and then during the day, whatever that was to be confirmed will appear. So it's quite interesting.
Wow. Well, one time I did something that was, I guess it was very synchronous. I did a test because while I was watching a documentary about how our minds are connected, and this is a very synchronous moment, but it could have been something a bit different. I'll let you guys be the judge. And so it was all about how you put your partner and you are connected, and not just through like love and all that kind of stuff. Like your minds are connected. You're like you're syncing. You sync together since you're in a relationship, and it doesn't matter where you are on the planet. You still have this connection that doesn't break. I thought that was amazing. It's like, okay, so I'll test this. Why not? So what I did was I went to Sarah and went, okay, Sarah, can you just give me and she was in Sydney by this time actually, and I went, okay, Sarah, can you just send me a message? It doesn't matter what it is, just send me a message. And then I thought, oh yeah, it'd be cool, but I thought, well, it's probably not gonna, like, even if I did send her a message, you know, if you're getting a message from someone you're not really like doing something, you sit there and you wouldn't just go, oh, Kris knows I need to send him a message. Oh, yes, I'll send him a message now. But what happened was she was just sitting on a platform. She decided to, I'll take a photo of this seagull and send it to Kris. And so 2 minutes later, I got this message back, and she goes, oh, look, there's a very lonely seagull right here. And it's kind of like one of those messages, which is kind of amazing. It's like, why did you send me a picture of a lonely seagull on the station platform? So it's kind of like, it's a very synchronous kind of moment. But is it like something that is just by circumstance, or is it part of the universe? I guess is what we want to just go into. So
it's all divinely orchestrated all the time. I don't believe in luck at all. When people, you're so lucky. No, it's called being awake and consciously creating. And talking about listening to what you just said then, when I met my husband, I was being just told, it's really, really random. I know, I'm just going to tell the story because it is very coincidental and synchronistic and very special. But I was being told, go to this certain local pub. And I'm like, oh my God, I so don't want to go there. And I had my 2-year-old at the time, my eldest daughter, and I'm like, I do not want to go to this trashy pub. It could have been one of those
dodgy pubs.
It was a dodgy pub.
It was a dodgy one.
It was a dodgy pub. And
okay.
not like a fully, like not in the city or anything, not in the
question
ghetto.
Is, did you bring nunchucks?
Yeah, I didn't need to.
You might need them. Okay.
But this was just being told, go. So I went. And I just walked into the doors with another one of my girlfriends, and I just pointed into the corner, and there was just a guy sitting in the corner, and I just went, I'm going to marry that guy. She's like, you're crazy, you've never even met him. And I hadn't had anything to drink either. He's like, you're crazy, I haven't even met him. And I'm like, yeah, I just am. I just feel like I'm going to marry him. Didn't see him because it was in a dark corner. Went to the bar, seen a old school friend from high school that I hadn't seen in years. And she's like, oh, hi, Tiarnie. I'm like, hi, Kat. And then she's like, oh, this is my auntie, Nat. And I'm like, oh, hi, how are you? And she's like, oh, and then Joel walked over and, oh, this is my son, Joel. I'm like, oh, you're the guy from the corner. So, obviously, then that's it. So then I found a letter from Katerina when we were both in year 8. And she had actually written a letter saying, I'm going down to Alstonville to visit Joel this weekend. So I'd actually been connected to Joel from that letter. Then we hadn't seen, he only just moved up to Brisbane 2 weeks prior to that, and then we connected there. Forever and a day I always went, you could never go to the army. You could never be in the army. I could never have you in the army. And in our charts, our past life, astrologically, he went to the army and he died. And I never knew that. Like, I didn't know that astrologically. I found that out like 10 years later after us being together. And I always felt this, you could never be one of those men that went to the army. And I didn't know why. It was weird because, of course, he's not going to the army. Hello, we're in Australia and you're not going to the army. But again, it's the synchronicity of all of those things happening. I was energetically tied to him. It was always being divinely orchestrated. And when you trust and you go with what you're being told, even if it doesn't happen right there, it will still happen. It's those people. We grew up next to each other, but then we met each other 20 years later and got married because you're always connected by this golden thread.
Wow, that's something to do. Like, do you guys believe in the soulmate sort of phenomenon? Like that?
Oh, there's a few versions of it.
Twin flame, soulmate. Yeah. It's all a bit crazy, isn't it?
Is that a thing? Is it a thing though?
Well, it starts off. I believe it.
Is it because you're attached vibration? Like you've already have the right vibrations to
the soul connection
to connect.
What do you think? To me, there's lots of layers of that. It really depends on where you are on your journey to what you believe, to what you create, and what comes in. All of it is a part of existence. Yes, it does happen. But after a while, you get to see that your thoughts do create reality, but not just your conscious, your unconscious. You get to see that everything happens. Why? Because it just happens. Things are planned. They're not just random. A lot of, with my journey, where I go, who I meet, what I say, what they say, it triggers a cellular memory, something that's already imprinted from the soul's journey that needed that moment so that I could recognize it to move deeper into my journey. So there's a lot of, we think that we have, I have to say, free will in this reality. I'm going to say free will my ass, because seriously, if it's not meant to happen, because if it's not meant to happen, it will not happen. You could, like, if I want to, join a club and be president of a club or do whatever it is I decide, if that is not in my destiny, in that pathway that I chose as a soul, then there's no way I will do it. But if it is aligned with who I am, the soul's destiny, so I look at the journey of the soul, it's you have destiny, but you also have lots of pathways that you journey along. Now, you choose those. They're the ones you go, well, I'm going to be this and I'm going to do that and I'm going to go here. But in time, if it is not in alignment, you will come out of that little roadway and you'll continue on your journey. And then you go, hang on a minute, I might just go off over here in a little tangent, and you will. But you find you come back. If it's meant
do you find that the the synchronicities actually happen a lot around you when you're in that right path?
Yes, definitely. To me, a synchronistic event isn't something that I have created. Sometimes they're little prompts from the universe to go, hello, come back on, and come back to that path, that journey. So I see that all of it is a part of who I am. It is my journey. But if I choose I want to live in New Zealand, but my destiny is to be in Brisbane, well, guess what? I will never get there. I will try.
Okay.
I will try. Yeah. So
It just won't manifest itself.
we do.